The word echoes throughout this chamber you find yourself in. It hangs in the air for many moments before dissipating into nothingness, leaving a lingering sense of dread in all of you. With the voices gone, your focus is heightened, which allows you to investigate the room further. Said room is rather plain. As mentioned previously, it is a stark white color that is slightly straining on the eyes. In the center is a long table with tray after tray of immaculate culinary delights. To the right of the table is a wall with 3 stone heads jutting out, spaced out at about 3 to 4 feet apart. In front of each head is an ornate metal table jutting out from the ground. Aside from these things, you find nothing special about the room. What will you do? That's right. We're getting right into it. Decisions.
We're getting right into it. I feel like we should continue to investigate.
Okay. What would you like to investigate? Specifically, what are we looking at right now?
Is there furniture in the room?
There's a table. The table with like all the food, but that's about it as far as furniture is concerned.
So can we get a reminder as to where we left off last? So where we left off, we met this guy on the side of the road, right? Super creepy looking, very like Hills Have Eyes type guy, but he's nice. And he takes us over to the family house, correct? And we ate dinner, but it wasn't really like the best. Very Resident Evil 7, very like super gross, but like kind of good. And even we got seconds of the dinner, right? So
yeah, that's how your guys' side of the story went. I'm sure Damien has a different retelling of the story, but
yeah, Damien has a different retelling of the story.
Yeah, I went with another guy, and we were in the car, and he did not talk at all. Well, he talked.
Oh yeah.
No, he didn't talk at all. I kept talking, and just to see if I would get something out of him. And once we got to a stop, he tried to force me out of his car. And then I tried to move to the other seat, and
and you got knocked out.
Yeah, he knocked me out.
Yeah,
I got bodied.
Yeah, and then you guys
we all woke up together.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you had the whole big thing with the jailer, and then you had to walk upstairs, and now you're in this dark white room. If at any point you need a reminder of what's in the room, I will let you know. Normal shit. But what are we investigating first?
What's in the room?
So there's
aside from the table with the food.
There is a wall of heads, like stone, like busts almost jutting out of the wall.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna look at the busts.
Okay.
We're gonna look at we're investigating the wall of heads. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you walk closer to the wall of stone heads to examine them. Upon said examination, you see that every head is identical. They are smooth, vaguely human-shaped heads with very few features at all to distinguish them from one another. The tables in front of them are small, square metal plates attached to thin silver poles jutting from the ground. Other than this, you see nothing of interest from this distance. What now? So you've got left, middle, right. Those are the 3 heads that you have to look at.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do? You want to continue investigating the heads, or do you want to go like look at the table now? What are we doing?
I don't know. I feel like we should keep checking out the heads. Is there anything distinguishing between the 3 of them?
From the distance that you were looking at them, no. You simply have left, middle, right. So which one do you want to look at first?
I'll look at the right one.
You want to look at the right one? Yeah, you can get closer. Just left, middle, or right is basically what I was asking.
I choose left.
You choose left?
Yeah.
Okay. As you approach the leftmost head, a slight humming begins to fill your ears. It maintains a consistent volume as you arrive in front of the head, which still seems completely void of any amount of distinguishing detail. Looking down at the metal plate sitting in front of you, sitting in front of the head, you are met with a plain steel-colored plate with nothing of note. And then, Damien, you said you wanted to look at the rightmost head.
Yeah.
And so, we'll look at that next. As you approach the rightmost head, your stomach begins to feel uneasy, which slowly turns into a pain similar to intense hunger. This feeling is at its most intense when you arrive at the head, which still appears to you as a featureless visage. Looking down at the metal plate sitting in front of the head, you are met with a plain steel-colored plate with nothing of note.
Okay.
So that's left and right head investigated.
Left.
Oh. Check the middle.
The middle.
Want to check the middle head? Okay. So as you approach the middle head, your vision fades in and out of focus as you approach in short bursts. Spacing of these bursts extends significantly upon arriving at the head, which still appears featureless, lacking any distinguishing detail. Looking down at the metal plate sitting in front of the head, you are met with a plain steel-colored plate with nothing of note.
Can you press like the steel plate or like?
I feel like we're supposed to put some food on the plates.
Is there food in the room?
There's
On the table, yeah.
There's the table. You want to go look at the table now?
Let's check out the table.
Okay.
Yeah.
Getting closer to the dining table, you see that it's actually not actually one table, but 3 tables lined up together. Each table has an assortment of foods that all look like they could have been made for a king. But there is something different about each of them. Which will you take a closer look at first?
Left again.
Okay. This table, the left table, is filled to the brim with food, leaving no room for much else. No utensil, no room for a plate. Simple tray after tray of food. So much food, in fact, that it pours off of the trays and onto the floor, littering the surrounding area with food scraps. Other than this, there is nothing of note about this table.
Oh, what about the middle table?
All right. The middle table has the least amount of food out of the 3, and instead has many beverages on it. Pitchers filled with water cover most of its surface area, and some have even been knocked down over onto the floor, leaving puddles of water around the table.
Okay. And the right table?
And the rightmost table has a sizable amount of food, but also has a variety of oddball trinkets, necklaces, pocket watches, expensive silks, hand mirrors, and various other small things that you're not quite sure of their usages. Broken bits of metal and glass lay out scattered around. The shattered glass is consistently covered with blood stains.
Is it fresh blood or is it dried blood?
They are stains.
Stains. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Hmm.
We take a closer look at those trinkets, like
Those trinkets? Okay.
yeah.
You walk closer to the trinkets, and you see that, again, a lot of them are like kind of, you're not really sure what they are. They're like various shapes of metal that are kind of jagged. You don't really want to touch them because they're pointy and you don't want to, like, cut yourself. But you notice when you're looking at the hand mirrors specifically that a lot of them are actually shattered. All of them except for one.
Okay, let's check out that mirror.
Mm-hmm.
What's up with it?
It seems like a normal mirror to you.
Son of a bitch. Of course it's just a normal mirror.
At the very least, in its current state, it seems like a normal mirror.
Well, let's check out the rest of the room. Is there anywhere else we can check out?
There is nothing else in the room.
So, in its current state, I break the mirror.
You want to break the mirror?
Yeah.
That's bad luck. In this place?
Don't care. Don't care.
Yeah.
Don't care. I break the mirror.
You break the mirror?
I break the mirror. Yeah.
All right. You smash the hand mirror on the ground, sending glass flying everywhere, and for a moment, a deafening silence fills the air. This makes you all feel uneasy, but the moment is quickly interrupted by a loud, inhuman chattering that echoes throughout the room. You might have company soon.
No,
Oh,
yeah.
great. We're friends now. We released a poltergeist. Great. Thanks.
I think we
Tyler.
released worse than a poltergeist. We gotta get out of here.
A demon.
All right. So just think. What is in the room, and what can you do with the stuff in the room? If this is a puzzle, guys. You got this. I believe in you.
Okay, so let's go back over the puzzle. That way we can make it clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do we have in front of us?
Basically, you have 3 heads.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The leftmost head, when you were walking towards it, your vision was kind of getting blurry. The middle head, when you were walking towards it, you felt a very distinct pain of hunger. And the rightmost head, you felt the hunger. The middle head, you felt your eyes were blurring, and the leftmost head, your hearing was dipping in and out.
So leftmost is hearing in and out. The farthest right, our hunger,
Yes.
is more out there. And then the middle is
Vision.
Okay. I kind of want to go towards the hearing one, so the far left, because if there's something that we can hear that like no one else can hear, if it's going in and out, we can like catch something of it. You know what I mean? Like we can catch like different sound bites possibly.
Okay. So Hannah,
I feel like a quick solution would be to just
remember in front of each head there's also a steel plate that like maybe you could put something on.
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot about that.
Oh. I feel like I broke one of the puzzle pieces.
No. That was like a mirror.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo! Off to a good start. So first of all, we definitely need to put some food on the one
for hunger.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what that does.
Okay. So let me just do okay.
Told you not to break the mirror.
He did tell you not to break the mirror. Okay. You place food on the tray in front of the rightmost head. After a moment of waiting, the head rapidly crumbles to the ground. Inside the rumble of the disintegrated head, you find a severed tongue covered in blood and bite marks.
So,
We found a severed head with bite marks?
No, you found a severed tongue.
Tongue with bite
inside
marks.
of the crumbled head, yes.
Okay. So, let's see if the broken mirror is now usable before we decide to mess with the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's a good play. And let's see if
what manner?
If we place it on the plate involving the eye? Yeah,
gotcha.
The vision.
Okay. You place the hand mirror onto the tray in front of the middle head, causing the glass to shatter. It already shattered. But coinciding with the little bits that are still there, coinciding with the shattering of those little bits of this mirror, the head crumbles. And its remains fall onto the ground, and inside the rubble of the head are two bloodshot eyes. If you didn't know any better, you'd think they were still watching you.
How did I know there were going to be eyeballs that come out of that?
Oh boy.
Oh.
So the next one's going to be a set of ears. I'm just guessing.
Perhaps.
But what do we place on the plate?
Are we able to take the eyeballs out of the thing and put it near the vision? The vision, the far left?
You already did the vision. That's what you put.
We did? Okay.
Yeah,
you get the eyes from. Yeah.
The only thing that we can pick up is like the tools, but they're really sharp.
Mm-hmm. Is there gloves around?
No, there are not gloves. But the chattering has now reached its pinnacle. Joining this sound is the sound of stone being shaken, much like an earthquake. You realize that along with this sound, the room itself begins to shake. Loose bits of stone collide with the ground and vibrate with the room. After a moment of this shaking, the ground beneath the tables at the center of the room crumbles and falls. This leaves a giant hole where the tables once were, and after another short wait, something else fills the two holes. Two large hands grab the rim of the newly made hole from the inside of it. These hands each have 5 thin fingers ending in serrated claws made of metal not too dissimilar to a saw's blade. The owner of these hands grasps tighter and pulls itself out of the hole, rocketing the being to the ceiling of the room. Quickly, your eyes scramble to follow the beast, but your brain quickly regrets this decision, as what you see is a thing of pure nightmare. The hands you saw earlier are attached to large, twisted arms whose musculature make no real sense to you, but they are very clearly powerful. These arms both attached to a thin, malformed rib cage with flesh loosely draped over it. At the bottom of the rib cage is a variety of bloody viscera hanging from the inside, bleeding profusely, which leaves a sizable puddle of blackened blood beneath. At the center of the twisted rib cage sits a pair of large eyes that frantically dart around the room. They are bloodshot and unwavering in their movement until eventually they arrive upon your party. The beast lashes out and grabs Tyler, shoving him inside its ribcage through the hole at the bottom. This distracts the abomination for a moment, but its intentions clearly are not good. What do you two do?
Look for some type of weakness?
Like,
what is he wearing? Is he wearing, like, armor?
He's not wearing anything, but he's also, like, 5 times the size of you.
Well, we can grab, like, one of the weapons.
Tyler, I moved you for a reason. You're shoved inside his horrible, gutty body. Anyway, judging by Damien's voice, I feel like he realizes there's only one real option.
Yeah, I gotta rush him.
You gotta rush him?
Mm-hmm.
That's your plan?
Let's see what he does.
Your plan is to rush him.
Wait, what? I see he grabs Tyler, right?
Yeah, he shoves him in his body. This dude is like...
he shoved him in his body?
This thing is like... Yeah, Tyler is not... He's in him. You're not getting Tyler out.
Oh,
that's not happening.
That's what you said. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta find some type of weakness. What's Tyler doing?
Tyler is inside of his... there's a hole at the bottom of the horrible beast. The thing shoved him inside him.
Oh, so we gotta cut him out.
You gotta cut him...
We gotta cut him out.
You have nothing to cut him out with.
But didn't you say there were sharp tools?
No, I mean, there are, but...
But?
They would, like, cut you, I guess? I don't know. You guys do what you want, but I could have sworn there was a specific thing that you would have done, but not very specific, but... What are you gonna do? What is your plan? You've got one way out, and the thing looking at you all scary.
And Tyler's, like, inside of him.
Yes.
Wait, so what type of weapons are there?
Nothing. There are no weapons.
Is there anything we can throw at him?
You could try throwing, like, the food or some shit.
But that breaks part of the puzzle, doesn't it?
Actually, no. The tables fell into the floor, so there's not even the tables, actually. Everything's gone. There's actually nothing for you to throw at him.
Oh, no.
Damien, what did we do?
We can't leave Tyler.
We can't leave Tyler. We can't sacrifice one of our own. So what's the beast's
legs looking like?
What's the legs? He doesn't.
Legs looking like the legs.
He doesn't have legs. He stands on his hands.
Oh, he stands on his hands? Damn it.
Yeah.
So let's look around the room.
And he's
again.
powerful. Fuck. Okay. Well,
we look around the room.
Thing would rip you in half.
With the room?
There's nothing in the there's a big hole in the floor and a giant monster in front of you. No, you cannot.
No.
I'm gonna be real with you. The thing is giant. You're not gonna
Okay.
I'm only helping this much because like there really is only one real option.
We gotta leave Tyler.
We gotta leave Tyler.
You both decide there's only one real option at hand. Running. Quickly, you dart towards where you came from, the stairway. You both rush down the steps as quickly as possible, stumbling every now and then, but maintaining your speed and not collapsing downward. The voices from before are now silent, and instead a new sound occupies the air, the sound of metal quickly tapping on stone. You dare not look behind you, as you are certain it is the beast chasing you down. Quickly, you reach the end of the stairs and arrive back at the walkway from before. The horde of man-beasts from before are no more, and neither is their master. You have no time to think. The sound of stone shattering and metal scraping is getting louder and louder. You only have one option, the same you had previously. Run. You continue to run frantically, your steps clang against the metal walkway and cause it to sway to and fro aggressively. The sound of shattering stone dissipates, but now you hear the chains above rattling away. A quick glance upward, and you see that the beast is swinging from chain to chain with immense speed. Its eyes locked onto one thing and one thing only: you. You can't afford to stop for breaths or thoughts. Fear and adrenaline fill your mind and lungs as you continue to run and run. Exhaustion feels as though it's about to take you, and you can feel your body slowly giving up on you. At the apex of all of these things, your ragged breaths, the rattling of chains, the clanging of metal, everything goes quiet. The beast has stopped chasing you, giving you a moment to breathe, thankfully. As you stand there exhausted and just happy that you haven't been murdered, you notice the surrounding area is quite bare bones. You stand still on a walkway, but that is all. Below the walkway is an infinite abyss of blackness, and above is quite the same. There are still walls in this place, but they extend ever upwards with seemingly no end. A few moments of catching your breath later, you see a doorway nearby and decide to take shelter in there for a moment. And upon entering this room, you immediately feel calm and safe. In fact, for the first time in a while, you feel as though this room is downright pleasant to be in. It's fairly bare bones, as it's simply a stone room with a bed and a chair. The most concerning point of the room is a giant hole in the leftmost wall where a constant dripping sound can be heard echoing. Even with that in mind, you still feel safe and at peace. As a result, you feel as though it's a good spot to take a rest for a moment and process what you've been through. So I will leave you to talk.
Okay.
So we're stuck.
Yeah, so we're stuck and we're like kind of resting right now.
Yeah.
Okay. And it
And we're
has
just, like,
Tyler. And I think there's a chance that Tyler's going to live, but he might be captured. That's my theory.
Yeah. But this hall seems like it's never ending. What's going on?
Oh,
Like,
we were probably drugged. With the food that we ate, because we were obviously drugged. We woke up in like this really weird room, right?
Okay.
We can start
drugged
searching
again.
the walls, maybe?
Yeah.
Because you know how,
See
like,
if we
if
can
it's a
find a
never-ending
door.
hallway, maybe there's a door somewhere. Because, like,
Yeah.
he said it's a hallway, but he wasn't specific on, like, what's in the hallway. Like, is it doors? Are there windows? Like, I was going to ask that, too.
Yeah.
Someone said they liked my mindset. It was Lionheart, one of my mods, and he's, like, double drop kicking. Just Sparta kick this, like, thing just, like, together. It'd have been hilarious.
Yeah. Don't have anything on us.
No, we don't have any weapons. No source of communication. Like, we can't call anyone. So if we're in this hallway, like, how are we hiding? How are we?
Okay, let's search for a door.
Okay, we will search for a door or some type of way out, or it could be in the floor too.
That's true. So we gotta check. Okay.
Like, are we even awake right now? Like, if we're drugged? Could be like a weird hallucination, like a weird dream. Like, we don't know what these people like did to us.
Nightmareception.
Yeah, it could be like a nightmareception type thing.
Nightmares.
We probably cracked the code just now.
Okay. Let's just stick together and just keep walking. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, we'll stick together. We'll keep walking. I have a feeling that Tyler's probably gonna bust out somehow. Like,
Somehow.
he's gonna
We
like
just gotta
sucker
pray for
punch,
Tyler.
or this thing's gonna like lay an egg and it's just gonna like let him go.
Yep, probably.
like.
Tyler's a fighter. I know that for sure.
Yeah, he wouldn't go down like that easily. Like, you can't just like
Definitely a fighter.
die.
So, you're in a little bit of a pickle, huh?
Yeah.
You are conscious, but it is dark, damp, and unpleasantly warm wherever it is you may be. Your memory is a little bit fuzzy, but you remember that thing taking you. As your memory gains clarity, you slowly begin to realize that you are inside the beast, nestled uncomfortably within its insides. You aren't given much time to process this or even accept it before you are unceremoniously spat out of the thing's guts and onto a stone floor. Like your memory moments before, your vision begins fuzzy but slowly clears. As your vision clears, you see the shape of people that slowly clarify into very recognizable people. Pops, Slim, and Teebs stand above you along with a fourth man you don't quite recognize. Hey Tyler, Slim scratches at his neck nervously. Hush now, boy. Pops shoves Slim slightly and reaches a hand out for you to grab, presumably wanting to help you up. Do you take his hand?
Yes.
Still feeling dazed and weak from the trauma you had just experienced, you decide to cautiously take Pops' hand and back up. Pops smirks slightly and lets out a satisfied sigh, which unnerves you slightly. Out of the way, Father. The fourth man speaks, sticking out like a sore thumb. This man is tall and thin, skin pale as can be. He is dressed in a brown robe, not unlike a clergyman would be wearing. Only two things are uncovered by his robe, which are his head and his hands. His head is slightly elongated vertically, with broad features such as an almost statuesque nose structure and a very rigid brow line. Underneath this brow line are milky white eyes that have irises that are constantly shifting, ebbing and flowing like liquid. The man is bald and has a sickly complexion. Unnatural scarring can be faintly seen throughout his face, and it almost seems as though each scar is pulsing with light. The second uncovered feature, the man's hands, are quite unsettling. While the base of each hand is only slightly larger than your average, the fingers attached are inhumanly long and very thin. Each finger is almost a foot in length and sticks out rigidly from the palm. One of these fingers, to your dismay, points directly at you. You have caused Mother and I many issues. You go to reply to this eerie man, but your mouth opens and no words come out. You won't be able to speak for a bit, a side effect of the Skitterer's biology. The man points a spindly finger to your right, and you look over to see the beast that had snatched you in the first place, hunched over and standing on his crooked hands, its eyes once more darting around the room wildly. Don't mind him, he's just watching for any unfavorables. The man gets uncomfortably close to you in the blink of an eye, his fingers examining your face closely by caressing it, while the man's actual eyes appear to not be looking at you at all. Ah, fascinating. Fascinating indeed. The man takes a step back. I am Peter, and this is my family, I suppose you could say. The party of four stare at you for a moment, a dull silence taking over the atmosphere. Peter turns his head slightly to his left, where Pops and Slim are standing. You two! Find Tyler's compatriots. We're going to need them back here quickly. Where would it even start, son? It could be anywhere at this point. Pop scratches his nose in stress, a little bit of flesh peeling off slightly. Peter's face turns annoyed with the question. The feast room, where else would you start? That's where they were. You start there, and then use your brain. I know you have one up there somewhere, dense as your skull might be. Peter waves his hand dismissively. Pops and Slim run off to search for your friends, leaving you and Peter alone with a silent Teebs sitting off on the side. Peter lowers his head and rubs his forehead in stress, eventually lifting his head towards you again. The things I have to deal with. He points a single finger at you. You must have many questions. Questions I don't have time to answer. You're going to cooperate with me, or I'm going to leave you and begin my preparations. Understood? Good. Glad we can be so understanding. Now, you are to be offered up to Mother as a sacrifice. Yes, I know that's alarming to you, but please remain silent, alright? We would rather have more than one offering, as this would be more pleasing to Mother. You understand? However, we need names. I don't have time to explain to you the intricacies of why I need names. I simply need the names of your friends. Tell me their names, and you might walk out of here alive. Are we clear?
Yeah. We're clear.
So you're going to tell them, or you're not going to tell them?
No.
You're not going to tell them?
No.
Fine, I'm used to disappointment at this rate. Teebs, take him away. I have enough work to do without having to babysit a fourth idiot. Peter walks out of the room. You turn to see Teebs, his face full of reluctance, as his fist raises and comes inches away from colliding with your face. Your heart skips a beat as you are happy to realize he has not knocked you out. The behemoth of a man collapses, sitting upright on the floor, with his head drooping down and very clearly distraught. What do you do?
I check on him?
Teebs sits unresponsive, his tiny sniffles blurting out in between the moments of silence. He doesn't seem very interested in talking to you, and after a few moments, he waves his hand dismissively. Funnily enough, you swear you can hear the word "go" muttered under the sniffles as his hand shakes about.
Okay, well, I'm dipping. I'm gonna go find them.
You're gonna go leave?
Yeah, I'm leaving.
You turn to try and leave and realize the skitterer, as Peter called it, is still present in the room. Its eyes are still darting wildly around the room, looking out for any sudden movements. You're certain this thing isn't going to be slowing down anytime soon, but there's certainly got to be a way to get out of here, right?
Okay, give me a breakdown in the room.
Mm-hmm. Seeing as how you've got a bit of time on your hands, you utilize this time and try to take in your surroundings better. The room you're in is small and damp, and unlike the previous scenery, it's cold. So cold, in fact, that the dampness mentioned earlier causes a thin layer of ice crystals to form on most surfaces in the room. The ceiling is low enough to just barely give the skitterer and Teebs enough room to look up to move around. And the surrounding walls of the room have large holes punched through them. A constant dripping sound can be heard from each hole, but other than this, these are the only notable things in the room.
I'm sorry, so one more time. There's ice crystals on the ceiling?
Just on things in general. It's very cold and damp, so there's it's not like icicles or anything
it's like a
pointy
layer.
Or sharp.
Yeah,
it's just like a layer of frost, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. Frankly, I don't know.
You don't know, frankly? Is there anything you'd like for me to repeat?
Yeah, what else was in the room? One more time? I got distracted by the thin layer of ice over everything.
There's a thin layer of frost over
shiny.
everything. The ceiling is pretty low, and there are holes in the surrounding walls.
I checked the holes.
You kind of are in a spot where you can't really move. You're far enough away, but the things that you see from there is that you very clearly see that it leads into some kind of tunnel of some sort. The different holes in the wall. So, assumedly, potential escape routes.
Okay, so I have how many different holes? One more time.
There's 4. There's 4 walls in the room and 4 holes in the walls.
Oh, right, okay. I was thinking one, they're all lined up or something.
No.
Okay.
The one directly behind you is the one closest to you.
I'll do that.
You're gonna make a break for it?
Yeah, I'll make a break for it.
You are sick of waiting, and so desperation takes over. A quick bolt towards one of the holes in the wall is immediately met with a quick gust of wind behind you as the skitterer just barely misses you. You stumble forward but carry on, running fast as you can into the adjoining tunnel. Inside the tunnel, you are immediately met with ice-cold water that is ankle-high, along with a rancid smell that you somehow missed previously. The icy liquid shocks your system, but you must keep pushing, and so you do. You trudge through this murky broth of ice and stink, loud sloshing echoes throughout the tunnel as you aimlessly run, but you're not alone. Behind you, you hear the same chattering that you heard in the feast room, which is now accented by splashing not too dissimilar to your own. You can feel your breath becoming shallow, painful. You are wearing thin, but maybe, just maybe, if you keep going, if you keep at this, you'll lose the beast and you'll find your friends. So you push on, but the skitterer is getting closer. You can feel water splat from its frantic movement splash on the back of your neck. You must keep pushing. Your breaths serve only as hindrances now. Pain shooting through your lungs. Your pace steadily declines. The beast is nearly in striking distance. Eventually, your body cannot maintain what your mind desires and you collapse to the ground, face first into the foul ice water. Quickly, you are scooped up by the skitterer. It holds you in front of its eyes, bloodshot and filled with rage. Their gaze is as focused as it has ever been. It clearly is not working on the commands of its master or even its own thoughts. Those eyes say one thing and one thing only, but actions speak louder than words, and those words speak louder than those words. So the skitterer raises you above itself in one hand before slamming you down into the water. Immediately, you feel your body shatter. Bones everywhere are crushed as you make contact with the tunnel floor. Your fractured limbs splinter and tear open your flesh. The stinking fluid of the tunnel quick to fill in the spots where your skin once was. The stinging is unimaginable And as you lay on the ground, broken beyond repair, you feel a sharp pain, a new pain, shoot through your side. You are once again lifted into the air, but this time you rest on one of the skitterer's saw-like claws, the serrated edge slowly sinking into you. The skitterer holds your body still with its thumb and begins moving the saw to and fro, carving into your body like one would fell a dying tree. The blade is dull, but the power behind these fingers are immense, making quick work of you. As the saw cuts through the last bit of muscle, the top half of your body falls to the ground. The last thing you see is the skitterer covered in your blood, making its way back to its post. The last thing you hear is the same echoing drips you heard from before entering here. A dirge for your unmarked funeral, carrying you to death's cold embrace.
See you, stupid.
So you're fucking dead.
I died.
Yep. You died.
God damn it.
So, feel free to watch the streams.
Yeah. Shit.
I'll see you later, buddy.
Okay. Shit. Well, guys, I died.
Oh.
In the midst of chatting, you realize that someone is doing some chatting of their own. Two distant voices echo outside the room, but they strangely sound familiar to you. As they get closer and more audible, you realize the two voices are that of Pops and Slim, bickering amongst themselves. Can you believe the nerve of that boy? Talking to me like that? I am his father. No one should ever treat the elders as such. I mean, isn't he elder? And we're not literally a hush your tone, boy. You know what Mama would do if she heard you talking like that. Now, keep an eye out. Peter said they couldn't have gone far. The voices are clearly getting closer, and by the sounds of it, you are the focus of their little walk. In the middle of this, however, a loud crash sounds from out nearby the tunnel. This sound echoes throughout, not just the room you're in, but everywhere outside of it as well. Confound it! We better check that out. I feel the worst, Slim. You hear the two men rush off, their steps getting more and more distant with every passing second. Psst! Hey, you! A voice startles you. You turn to the hole in the wall and find a man standing inside of it. He stands at about 5'6", and is covered in head to toe with cloth wraps held together by leather straps. Even his face, hands, and feet are covered in dirty cloth-like bandages on a wound. The only visible thing about this man are his eyes that appear to glow an icy blue out from beneath the plethora of wrappings. He gestures towards you to follow him. Come quickly, we don't have much time. Something about this man feels comforting, but mournful. This feeling is enough to convince you to follow the man, and so you do. As you step out of the room and into this hole, the first thing you notice is how cold it is. You're not sure how it wasn't cold prior, but now it certainly is. A murky, vile-smelling liquid at ankle depth sloshes around at your feet, and what you assume and hope are chunks of ice floating around in it. The liquid is freezing cold and shocks your system more than the temperature of this place. The bandaged man has quickly hurried ahead of you and gestures for you to quicken your pace. As you rush to meet him, you realize you're in a large tunnel, and when you finally catch up to him, you realize much more. You're not simply in one tunnel, but a system of tunnels. The man leads you through a variety of tunnels for a long time. Clearly, he knows where he's going, and you're thankful of it too, wondering if you would ever find your way out of a place like this. Eventually, the man leads you to another hole in a wall, leading to another room. As you begin to take steps towards the room, your foot collides with something hidden underneath the water. You look down to see something floating at the surface, and suddenly your heart sinks. There is no mistaking what you see is a floating torso, gruesomely severed from its lower half. Curiosity and fear overcome you as you turn the floating torso to see that it is the upper half of your friend Tyler. His body damaged beyond repair, bones splintering out of every part of him. His face is a visage of fear and loneliness, no doubt the emotions he felt before death took him. We must be quick if... The wrapped man stops, his own words, recognizing the weight of this current situation. I will wait for you in the other room. So, he's in right now.
Say again, Crazy? What was the last thing you said?
In the other room right now, waiting for you to meet up with him.
So we go together.
You can, or if you want to take a moment to process the things that have happened.
Okay, so let's break it down, right? So we have this creepy dude that's like trying to help us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he like wants to talk to us. So what does it look? Where are we right now? Are we still in that hallway?
You are in a tunnel.
We're
Like in
a
like
tunnel.
a rocky sort of cold tunnel with like gross ice water at your feet.
So like a cave kind of.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
Is there anything in this cave before we follow the guy?
Not really.
Nothing?
There's not much of note. You just follow him?
Yep, let's just follow him.
Okay. You decide you've had enough mourning and follow the man into the adjoining room. The room you're in is small and damp, and unlike the previous scenery... Oh no, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. It's so cold, in fact, that it creates a thin layer of ice crystals on most surfaces in the room. The ceiling is extremely low, and each wall has holes punched through them. A constant dripping sound can be heard from each hole, but other than this, these are the only notable features of the room. The rat man sits leaned up against one of these walls, scribbling into a notebook and muttering under his breath. You're thinking it might be time for some answers.
Well, I stay far away because social distancing. I'm like, hey,
social distancing. All right, hey,
buddy. What are you doing over there? Fucko.
The man scribbles a little bit more into his journal and fucko, and turns his head to your direction. Is that really important right now? Unnecessary chit-chat isn't going to get us much anywhere. Just know I'm your only way out of this situation. The man returns to scribbling in his journal.
Can I grab the journal from him?
Is that what you want to do?
Wait,
yeah,
we can't.
Like he's scribbling something. He's keeping something from us.
You want to attempt to grab their journal from him? Is that what you're trying to...
I stopped Hannah from trying to snatch the journal. Wait a second.
Okay.
Hannah, wait, think about what we just went through, all right?
I just imagine like Damien like grabbing me and being like, "Stop it! Like, don't do anything
wide-eyed,
right now."
like,
okay,
wait,
hang on. Okay, so I'm like, so Damien grabs me, like I'm like, okay, so what do we do? Should we ask him like what the plan is?
I ask him. I'm like, I attempt to communicate again. Hey, sir. Let's see what he says.
Hey, sir. Just that's it.
I'm like, hey, sir. Try to get his attention again.
What is it?
What are you writing in that journal?
A story far too long to tell right now. All that matters is getting you two out of here. The man stares at his notebook for a while, and for a little bit you swear you can see a tear or two fall onto the pages.
Is he crying? Like...
For a little bit, you can swear you see a tear or two fall onto the pages.
Hey, sir, it's
Tears
gonna be
or
all right.
sweat?
I don't know. It could be something.
Hey, sir, you doing all right? I ask him if he's doing okay.
Yeah, can we comfort him and see like what's going on?
And then simply ignores you and continues scribbling.
Right.
Muttering
I put
under
my
his breath.
hand on his back and be like, hey, like we need to talk about this.
The man pushes your hand off his shoulder. Do not touch me.
Okay, that's cool. I respect it.
Well, let's just walk past him.
Walk past him? You're gonna walk past him?
Well, we're in this room, right?
We're in this room.
But just clarifying statement so that you don't end up getting yourself fucking killed. You're in a room that leads to more tunnels.
Oh, he can
in a giant in a giant series of tunnels.
Oh.
There's a reason earlier I said you wonder if you could ever find your way through this kind of place.
Where are we?
Right now you're in a room with a bunch of holes in walls that lead to more tunnels.
Can we ask him if he knows the way?
You can ask that, yeah.
He started crying, and yeah, let's ask him if he. Let's ask, hey, sir, do you know your way around here? Is that what's in that tunnel? I mean, is that what's in that book you're writing in?
Again, the book, long story, but I do know where we're going. Okay, just let me finish up here and continue on with whatever it is the hell you're talking about. I do not much care.
How long have you been here, sir?
Listen, all right? I told you it's a long story. There's too much to tell in too little time, and I am getting a little tired of your very stupid questions.
I mean, we gotta figure out what's going on. Like, he can't keep us in the dark like this. Like, it's either now, like, we need to know now, or we're leaving the room. Like, we're gonna go find out on our own.
The man angrily shoves his notebook into his pocket. Look, I understand the weight and severity of your loss, but now we have more important things to be focusing on. You want his death to be in vain? He pauses for a moment and snaps his fingers, cursing under his breath. You better pray they didn't know his name. He angrily punches a nearby wall, fracturing it quite intensely. Whatever you do, do not call each other by your name. Don't even tell me your name. Figure something else to call each other. Under no circumstances are any of the freaks to know your name. You understand?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Good. The man dusts himself off. Now, we really should get going. If we're to get you two out of this thing alive, we have to get going now. So if you're done with your questions, let's get going. He pulls his notebook back out, waiting for you to be ready. And you guys are...
Okay,
damn. Ready?
Yep.
Goober
Yes,
1
no?
and Goober 2 is what
Goober
someone
1?
suggests.
Cooper 1 and Cooper 2. Okay.
That's the names?
No, not the names, not the names. There's just silly suggestions. So we can't go by our full name, so he can't call me by my full first name.
Yeah. Basically, don't call each other by your names, this is what he's saying.
Yes. So can I call her by, like, if I said Han?
Yeah. Like,
okay.
Short.
That's cutting it close, but I think it might work.
Okay. So Han and Dame.
Yep.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You guys ready to follow this man into the unknown?
If I die, that's the huh?
Wait, okay, question. Did Tyler die or did he disappear?
Well, you saw his cut in half corpse.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I didn't know if we were drugged or anything. Okay, let's go. Okay, continue. Just want to make sure.
You did?
So Tyler is dead at this point.
Tyler is very dead.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Are we ready to go?
Yep, let's go.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
After processing the situation you're in, you realize there is only one thing left to do. Get out of this hellhole alive. Unfortunately, unable to gather Tyler's corpse and give him a proper burial, you retrieve his shattered glasses in memoriam. You tell the wrapped man that it's time to go, so he gathers his things and leads you forward. For a while, you spend time wandering through the caverns with this man at the lead. He seems to know where he's going, and eventually he proves so, because you end up in another room, not unlike the one you were just in. This room, however, has a doorway attached to it rather than a wall, leading out to a metal walkway. This way, follow me. The man speaks quietly and leads you out of the room. As you carefully make your way onto the walkway, you notice it's quite similar to the metal walkway you traversed in that industrial nightmare during your first imprisonment. But instead of the intense orange of molten metal, the lighting of this place is a sickly green color. The industrial noises of hammers on metal are replaced with the sound of blades on flesh, bones cracking, and the pained moans of man and animal alike join in tandem with the aggressive chopping of meat. You notice below you there are no longer blacksmiths, but instead titans of flesh and steel standing tall over conveyor belts. The beings are torsos attached to mechanical spider legs. In the chests of these beings are an assortment of metal arms extending outwards with a variety of blades on the ends of them. All these mechanical arms work at lightning speed, tearing through all sorts of different meat that rolls by on the conveyor belt. From cows to men, every subject is living and screaming. All the blood pouring from the freshly made wounds spills off the conveyor belt and into a large tub, sitting next to these mechanical butchers. The tub then has a tube that leads out from it and back into the butchers. Crimson blood is mixed with milky green bile throughout the tubes, which is all funneled into the top of the torso where a head would normally reside. Instead of this, however, a large rusted sphere with faintly glowing green runes resides where the head would be. Various liquids leak from the seams in the sphere. Underneath all the screaming of the butchered, you hear the ethereal howl of something in pain emanating from the spheres at the top of these horrific. Dozens of these mechanized death machines stand tall, swiftly dispatching their prey, which are then carried off to God knows where, on conveyor belts. It's quite hard to even think in a place like this, let alone hear anything, and the wrapped man appears to know that, causing him to communicate with you purely through hand signal. He heads down the length of the walkway and signals for you to do the same. With little choice, you continue to follow his lead, and for quite a while, you all continue to walk, the sounds of screaming death filling the air relentlessly. Eventually, the wrapped man signals you to stop and turns to look below. He looks at you and then points down, implying it's time to jump down. You look and see that he's specifically pointing at a conveyor belt that seems to have stopped working, and next to a butcher that also seems to be out of commission. The man jumps down and waves for you to follow him once more, but as he does this, you see something just ahead of you on the walkway. A large sphere, not unlike the ones atop the mechanized butchers, stands in your path. It floats at about 5 feet above the walkway and has clearly noticed you. Turning around to show you a circular glass window at the very center of it. Just behind this window is a large bloodshot eye. A milky green liquid sloshes about inside the sphere as it moves. A few moments pass, and it begins to float towards you. Its pace slowly increasing as it gets closer. A wretched screech rings out throughout this hellish butcher shop. The screeching gets louder and louder, but eventually you realize it's not one solitary screech, but many screeches happening at once. With this sound, the butcher and the conveyor belt you saw earlier begin making unearthly noises, looking like they're beginning to awaken. You are given a choice. Run from the sphere on the walkway, or follow the wrapped man into the belly of an awakening beast.
Let's keep following him. We've already gone this far. We can't just go off by ourselves.
That's true, because if we go by ourselves, one of us is going to die.
Stop following him.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot deny this man's knowledge and decide to trust him, as scary as that thought might sound. You hop down onto the conveyor belt and hurriedly run behind the wrapped man who, as expected, begins to run down the length of the conveyor belt. This leads you inside the adjoining wall, and at first it is dark. Muffled sounds of the horror from the previous room slowly begin to dissipate as you distance yourself from that place. The man turns to you, his eyes glowing in the darkness. You can barely see his hand point downward once more before he drops down into the darkness below. Without even thinking, you follow him down, seeing as there's no turning back now, and you're surprised to find that the drop wasn't very far down. As you land, however, you are immediately dragged from where you are and emerge from darkness. Your eyes take a moment to adjust to your new surroundings, but as they do, you aren't met with anything pleasant. Eventually, your vision focuses, and you realize you are in what looks like someone's room. You see that you arrived here through a vent in the ground, and unfortunately, that this is someone's room. It's Teebs' room, and he's standing right in front of you. His teeth are bared and his brow is furrowed. He has the wrapped man by the throat, and the man is squirming and gasping for air. Teebs' head turns to look at you. He isn't happy to see you, and it looks like he's ready to kill. Now, before we go on, may I ask how long we have been streaming? Little time check.
53 minutes.
53 minutes?
Yeah, about
Okay.
an hour.
As a result, God, I'm so good at this. That's the end of the session.
That's it?
Yes, he isn't happy to see you, and it looks like he's ready to kill.
Right.
And we are left with another cliffhanger.
Damn it.
Because gotta keep you wanting more.
Right.
More. I was very worried that was a lot shorter than 50-something minutes. I am very glad it is 50-something minutes.
The screaming? Jesus Christ. I was like, yo, what?
What?
Yeah. So, here, you know what? Wait, is Tyler still in the Discord? Okay.
He put rigged.
He said rigged.
Rigged in all
Rigged.
caps.
Hey Tyler, I
Sorted.
figured you want to at least be here to,
Tell us what happened.
well, not necessarily. I mean, you could tell them or
Leave
not.
it.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
Well, I'm okay if you tell them what happened.
I'll tell you what. Oh, I'll tell you what happened.
So this is how Tyler
I
died.
was set up.
Set
I
up.
can
Okay.
tell.
Okay.
But just know I could have killed us all.
Oh no.
What? No way.
I have a feeling that one of those decisions that I made could have killed us all.
No. Are you serious?
I think so, yeah.
Damn it.
He definitely, I'm gonna say, he definitely had a very important decision in his time away from you guys.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. You
And I
just
won't
screwed
tell
us
you what
over.
it was.
Screwed us over.
But yeah,
Damn
that
it.
is the end of session 2.